This episode of the Seventh Valkyrie Podcast is brought to you entirely by fan support. To help keep the series ad-free, get early access and bonus features, browse gear and apparel, join the community, or watch the series come to life in living color, you can check out the links in the description. Hey there, hi there, how's it going, everybody? This is my last podcast of this session, so I'm singing the theme song. It's Colin, he's grooving it, we're moving it, I'm shaking. Ellen's cat is looking at me weird. Deserved. Anyway, so I realized that a lot of my podcasts for the past couple of weeks have been super deep and intense. I know this because this is the last recording of a session that has included a lot of deep topics. And I have little moments where I'll get kind of deep into things and really think profoundly about situations that we all face. And, maybe it happens when the world is feeling heavy, and so I'm feeling heavy, and I kind of want to look at some of the weight that's on all of our shoulders. But sometimes I don't want to do that, and so for this podcast, I wanted to shake all that off and tell you a very funny story about iguanas in Costa Rica. So, for context, as you guys all know, if you've listened to one of my many podcasts on the subject, I find nature very funny and fascinating and terrifying in all the ways. It's just great. And one of the best examples I can think of for how I kind of interact with nature, apart from snorkeling, is the iguanas that live all around my complex down in Costa Rica. And it's sort of how I kind of like track the natural world, because over the course of a year, you'll see a bunch of young ones get born. And then they're all sort of zipping around, munching and feeding, and then they start to grow and they start to compete for territory. And then you end up seeing one or two of these big boys who are like, all right, we've taken over this land. And then it's mating season, and then the lady iguanas show up, and love is in the air, and then, it all starts again. After a brief waiting period, I don't know how long lizard gestation is. But, whoops, I just bumped the mic. Sorry, everyone who is listening. But to make all that more fun, like that whole cycle of life and beautiful, is that there's these big dumb lizards. Like they are they're fast and dumb, and it's hilarious because they can absolutely move faster than they can think, and they're these big chonky lizards, and so you'll see them like chasing each other, and just like amazing. Like, have you ever seen videos of dogs like tripping while running? Imagine getting to see that all the time with iguanas. Like they are just like this is an actual scientific fact. The iguanas that live in Guanacaste, Setenosaura, are literally the fastest lizards that exist. Like they have the highest, they've been recorded at the highest top speed. And I'm convinced that they're also the dumbest lizards that can, have ever existed. They're hilarious. And they are really dumb, and they run super silly, and they like to eat flowers and fruits, and they look so cute. And like you can actually, I had an ex-girlfriend who like got an iguana to eat out of her hand, and I've never seen anyone do it before, and I wish I had the video, because she sent me, and it had like some Snapchat like filter on, and it was like some caption that was just like, if you give it, they will come, and then she like panned over and handed an iguana a piece of bread, and it was like, oh shit, bread, yum yum yum, and I was like, I've never seen anyone feed an iguana, that's amazing. Anyway, so that's not the story I'm going to tell you. The story I'm going to tell you is about the cleverest little male iguana that I've ever seen. He was just like, oh my God, I think I slapped it again. I'm in a new setup right now. Past couple episodes have been I'm literally in a box. There's like you can get these desktop recording boxes, and like I'm literally just sticking my face into a box where my mic is set up. And it's got soundproof foam all around it. It's kind of cool. I'll see if I can send a picture or whatever to Instagram. Well, no one even follows my Instagram. Who cares? Anyway, back to the iguana story. So it's at one point it was like I could tell it was iguana mating season, and because the big boys start showing up more, and they're kind of they're slamming their heads up and down, going like, "Oh yeah, look at me, ladies! I'm a big iguana guy." And the late iguanas are much smaller, and they're kind of hiding in the bushes, like, "Oh well, who am I gonna have my children with?" I guess that's what they're thinking. But there was one time where I saw this big male iguana, and he was kind of strutting out. And from out of the bushes, like, comes this little lady iguana. She's like, kind of comes skittering up the hill. And he's like, oh yeah. And if you've ever seen iguanas, they do this kind of like head nod. I'm doing it right now. You can't see it. But they do this kind of like, oh yeah. Like it's like a bro nod, like oh yeah, what's up? But they just keep doing it. Anyway, so he starts nodding. And she's like, "Oh hey, yeah, I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Like I can feel the love tonight." And I'm sitting there up on my porch just watching this happen as all of a sudden another from like behind somewhere else in the like from the forest comes another big boy iguana. He's like, "I will challenge you for her hand in marriage." And the other guy's like, "Oh shit!" And he starts nodding. And the other guy's like, "Oh shit, yeah, we're gonna fight." And Lady Iguana is like, all right, fight for my hand, knock yourselves out. And so these two big iguanas like square up, and they're like sashing over, and they come, and then they lock up, like they both like bite each other on the shoulder, and they start just like rotating around in circles. I later saw on like Prehistoric Planet 2 that like that's how like mosasaurs would fight. But anyway, so if you've seen that scene from Prehistoric Planet 2, that's kind of what was going on. But they're just kind of like they're locked. They each have their mouth on each other's shoulder, and they're sort of pushing each other like sumo wrestlers, trying to fight for dominance. And they're going at it, and they're circling back and forth. And I'm like, whoa! Like I wonder who's going to win. How do you even win this? Like what kind of strange competition is this? How is a winner selected? And I'm the lady iguana is like, yes, gentlemen, continue fighting for me. Like I will select the winner, which I thought was really empowering of her. And then from like a bullet, I said that these are the fastest lizards that have ever existed. And out of the shadows of covering like 20 yards of ground comes this like smaller but still adult male iguana. And like these two big boys, like he's probably half the size of these guys, and he comes, he's zooming across, and he's just like, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what is he about to do? And Lady Iguana like looks over, and he just hits her like a fucking linebacker. Like he comes in and just and not like he's like not even a tackle. He just is like like imagine someone running face first into you. Because they have no arms or like they can't do anything to stop it with their arms. But he just runs into her at about 30 miles an hour, and they come like they fly off the like a little bit off the ground because they're on like a ledge, and just start tumbling down this steep hill that she'd come out of, and like tumble, they're and like they keep rolling, and like then they're sort of like scuffling a little bit, and then they roll all the way down the hill out of sight into the foliage, and then disappear and go like. And I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing! And I look over, and the two big boys have not seen anything, and they're still just they still have like a jaw on each other's shoulder, like, hey, bro, man, this lady, she's mine, and the guy's like, oh no, she's my doll, and I'm just like, dudes. You got. And the female iguana was like, all right, cool, this clever guy, like excellent, nice moves, like excellent tackling for him. And they scampered off into the forest, never to be seen again. And I watched the two big dumb dudes fight for like another 45 seconds before they were like, what? There's no woman here anymore. What are we doing? And they kind of both just went their own ways. It was fascinating. Animals are beautiful people. I'm going to see if I had any. I've been talking about that story. I went off script for that story. I didn't have many of my notes, so I was like, oh shit, what, do I have anything else written here? Anyway, I guess to end this up, I just want you guys to know that it's not always doom and gloom and political commentary on the Seventh Valkyrie podcast. Sometimes I just like to watch clever iguanas outsmart the big boys. So anyway, hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll keep you guys posted on some cool stuff. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Seventh Valkyrie Podcast, which is brought to you entirely by fan support. To help keep the series ad-free, get early access and bonus features, browse gear and apparel, join the community, or watch the series come to life in living color, you can check out the links in the description.